The Great Wall of Mexico is going up, and President Trump today signed an executive order authorizing the construction of a border wall that would theoretically stretch from the Gulf of Mexico to the Pacific Ocean, nearly 2,000 glistening miles. And guess what? It's not going to be cheap, no matter who gets to pay for it. Might be us, might be Mexico, but as President Trump has vowed, they're paying for it south of the border. As you know, this whole thing has really upset Mexico, which has historically been one of our biggest trading partners. So is it a sign of what to expect from President Trump's America First foreign policy agenda? John Bolton joins me, former U.S. ambassador to the UN. He's a Fox News contributor. He could be president of the United States. Ambassador Bolton, welcome back.
Glad to be with you.
So if you were tackling some of the biggest problems our country faces, would the border wall be this high up in your agenda?
Well, look, the president, doesn't matter what I would do, the president campaigned on this issue. In fact, some would say there was no issue in the panoply of issues that were discussed that was more important in making him a significant factor within the Republican nomination process and then in the general election. If he fails to go ahead with a campaign promise like that, it could cripple his credibility across the board. So I don't see that anybody should be surprised at this. He said he was going to do it, and now he's doing it.
All right. So, I mean, is this similar to the executive order that President Obama signed his first week in office, where he said he was going to close Guantanamo Bay? Guess what? He didn't close Guantanamo Bay. Do you think this president will actually build a wall?
Well, I don't know exactly what the executive order contemplates, in the sense that presumably there is authorization existing now for steps to enforce the laws that are currently in force to make sure illegal aliens don't come into the country, whether they're coming in for jobs or to commit terrorism or trafficking in persons or trafficking in drugs. I'm not sure what it does in addition to, as I say, the authority that's already there and the wall that's partially built.
Yeah.
But in terms of expressing his intention to redirect resources within the Department of Homeland Security, yes, this is the kind of thing that presidents start off on when they're in their first days in office. Whether he requires additional appropriations, I'm sure he does. Whether he requires additional legislative authority, we'll have to see.
Yeah. And we certainly will, especially if there are expenditures in play, which there certainly will be. But does it give us a false sense of security to have a wall? Does it mean that we stop looking for bad guys who truly threaten us, who might be among us as we speak?
No, look, I think people talk about the third border, the airports and ports where people come in. Obviously, there's no wall proposed along the Canadian border, which would be even longer and more expensive. And there are people here now who constitute a threat as well. What I'm concerned about is the porousness of the border from the perspective of protecting the national security. And that goes back many, many years, and it's one of the reasons why we've had many of the terrorist attacks we have had.
No, that's absolutely true, and I think part of that is people feel that we've got so much security that we're actually safe. It gives them a false notion of it, probably because there's too much government in play. Do you think that Canada is going to build a wall on their southern border? And if they did, would the United States be upset?
No, I don't think they're going to build a wall. Look, I think you have to give some credit to the people of the country. I don't think they're so naive as to think that the wall is going to make them secure. What they want to hear is a president who says, I'm going to keep you safe, not who talks about the world without borders and how the more people we have in, whether we can vet them or not, the better we are. To them, it's an important political symbol, and I think it's an important political symbol of American sovereignty, too. We are a nation of immigrants. Personally, I would dramatically increase the number of legal immigrants who are allowed into the country every year.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure we control it. We make the decision, not the would-be immigrant.
No, I agree. We should have many more visas, and there are a lot of employers out there who feel the exact same way. They would love to have people who are in this country legally, who are eager to work, but unfortunately the system is so screwed up, and there's no way either party is going to tackle it comprehensively. Ambassador Bolton, thank you so much.
Anytime.
Very good.